This is Slime Boss here, and welcome back to the Crazy Cat Podcast. I am joined by my good friend, Hylian Hero, and today we are going to be discussing our predictions for 2024.
2087.
2099.
God.
So overall, I think that this is going to be... Me and Aiden had a little bit of a discussion. Yeah, that Aiden, you don't want to... Not the Mevins versus Aiden drama. Let's put that aside.
Aiden's not on Twitter anymore, is he?
He is.
He never went back, did he? He is.
Yeah, he is. He's been doing art on Twitter for a little while, and I think he's back. And the only reason why he's back is because he's making videos. So shout out.
Yeah, good for him.
And he was, as someone was saying, and this was not even a Nintendo tweet, and they were like, this year's going to be a filler year. Can we skip to 2025 when we get GTA 6?
And I'm hyped for the filler year. I really am hyped for the filler.
True, and he's like, this is definitely not a filler year. We got Mario versus Donkey Kong, Paper Mario, Luigi's Mansion, and Peach. And I'm like, you do realize 3 of those are remakes, right? And I'm like,
I was gonna say,
no,
I was gonna say, don't open your argument with Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, as a Nintendo fan, I'm really excited for what's on offer this year. But until the end of the year, it really is just gonna be those last minute Switch games. And I'm like, I think we all know that the Switch 2 is coming this year. So
I mean, this is kind of spoiling my predictions just based on how one of my games go. I honestly, until November, I kind of think Princess Peach Showtime, besides like maybe a small spin-off, is gonna be our only new game for the year until the Switch successor comes out. Yeah. I think it's gonna be that dry of a year. It's gonna be a lot of remasters, ports, old
DLC.
Stuff.
Even that's included.
I don't even know how much DLC we're gonna get. There's DLC I hope we get, but I'm not optimistic.
Well, I have a prediction for one. No, yeah, don't. Yeah, the only thing new is DLC, and actually, no, I do have one new game, but for some reason, Pokemon is on another timetable. You know, back in the 3DS days, they still released Pokemon games up until the end of its life. Before that, Black and White was, I think, released day and date, or not day and date with the 3DS, but it was still on the DS.
What? And then Black and White 2 came out on the DS as well a year later. They took 2.5 years basically to get X and Y out, so they aren't usually in a rush.
Yeah, so I have a couple of Pokemon stuff that might be happening, just because for some reason they're on their own timetable, but that's about it.
They like to stay where the largest install base is.
Yeah, which is fair, and again, speaking of install base, they better have like backwards compatibility because that would be the worst decision in history if they don't.
I don't want to be on social media in the event we live in the timeline where the Switch 2 does not have backwards compatibility, because that will be a firestorm. That will be disastrous for them.
It would be absolutely now, in the event, the only way that I see that happening is if somehow they go back to discs, which is not technically impossible because the PSP kind of did it. But if it does happen, that's the only way. And it's backwards compatible with the game. No, I'm just kidding. No, the GameCube.
No, I mean, this feels pretty self-explanatory, but obviously not every single game is going to be fully backwards compatible. Like, games where you like had to have a Joy-Con, I think may or may not. There's certain I'm sure there's like a few games that probably will not be backwards compatible, but 99.5% of the lineup it should be. And if it's not, Nintendo did something wrong here.
And if they do, they'll probably make updates. And honestly, even with those Joy-Con ones, I'm pretty sure we'll have just better Joy-Cons next generation. So
yeah,
something maybe like this.
More than likely, but it's like, you had to flex that, didn't you? But no, back to backwards compatibility. It's just like they can't be without it. Like, they can't pull a PS3 to like the PS4. They can't pull a Switch to a Wii U because there's no way they're going back to discs. Like, yes, they absolutely could. That thing would have to be pretty sizable unless they wanted to use like their own like specialized disc, and that seems
That didn't work
Like a
on the
disaster waiting to
GameCube.
happen. No, that was a disaster on the GameCube.
So yeah, I mean, I'm feeling optimistic that it'll happen. Like honestly, like I don't care what we get as long as it's a step up because the last time we had a step up was the Wii U, honestly.
Mhm.
And in terms of graphical and like I don't care if it's like PS5 levels, which it won't be, but at least some sort
Yeah,
of upgrade and then backwards compatibility. Anything else, I'm like Nintendo's gonna Nintendo and it's gonna be fine. Like
yeah,
the Wii U, it was a great console. It just didn't they failed on the marketing side. So I
yeah.
trust them to with everything else just as long as it's some sort of upgrade. But we also need to understand that we're in a new era of Nintendo. The Switch was the last Iwata touched product. And he's been
Hmm.
touching the product since the NES. So I mean, he didn't make that, but
Why are you saying it like that? He's been touching them.
no, I mean it's been that his blessing has been on it since
There
then.
you go. I like that wording.
So this is something new. So maybe we're just they're gonna pull something out of their eyes and they're like, holy shit, Nintendo cares about graphics now. What the heck? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I do think this is gonna be a not to go like too far into like Switch 2 discussion, but obviously this is the year for Switch 2. Like
Yeah,
there's not really a huge probability that we go into 2025 without it. That being said, yeah, no, they're gonna focus on power with price. Like I don't think they can charge more than $400 for this thing, but we're working on hardware that's a lot more recent. I'm sure they're making like NVIDIA do like a specialized graphics card for them again. It'll be a lot more powerful. That being said, we're probably not going to get like something more powerful than like a PS4.
yeah, understandable. Yeah, I mean honestly, we don't need that much power. I think right now, looking at the games lineup, including GTA 6, the only thing that I don't know how Mortal Kombat 1 released in that state because even that game could have released a lot better. As long as we have like even if we don't get 4K, as long as we have a console that's at least powerful enough, it doesn't need to look gorgeous. It just needs to be powerful enough to be, to able to play the games that PlayStation 5. Now,
Well,
granted, it's not going to run a Ratchet and Clank because of their SSD thing, but it just needs to be powerful enough to run all these games so that
no.
companies are willing to work with them. And they already are. I mean, what's his face? Phil Swift, Phil Spencer is already saying Call of Duty's coming back, so
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine. Again,
Well, I mean, you mentioned Mortal Kombat, but I mean, on the other side of the coin, yeah, it made a lot of compromises, but Hogwarts Legacy is like so well produced for the Switch. I'm shocked it's actually there.
yeah. Again, these games like it doesn't matter about visual fidelity. It's literally just about that chip, and that chip is just extremely old in the Switch. So
Exactly.
and there are ways to put it on the Switch, but I think developers will be a lot safer with at least a little bit beefier hardware.
Well, and the problem is, it's like Nintendo was in such a rush, I think, to produce the Switch that they were basically running off of slightly like improved Wii U like technology, and the Wii
Yeah.
U came back in like 2012.
Yeah.
So we're running on really dated tech here. It's finally time that Nintendo can hopefully pull something new out.
And I mean, we could be actually in for something even better than we expect because remember the OLED was supposed to be the Pro
Thanks,
and
COVID.
yeah, COVID stopped that. So now they had a lot more time to think about it and we probably are going to get something better out of it. So,
I agree.
all right, so I think we should actually get into our predictions. It's, it's a tradition on pretty much every Nintendo podcast that we talk about Switch 2 rumors and stuff, but hopefully this is the actual year. Praying and hoping. So January, I don't have any like new predictions, but I threw on here we can expect. Just Prince of Persia, Another Code, and the Apollo Justice trilogy. That's pretty
See,
much all I have.
you did more effort than I did. I didn't even worry about Apollo Justice and Prince of Persia. I just said Another Code will launch on January 19th, and it'll be a very good but niche experience.
hmm For some reason, I was thinking Mario and Donkey Kong comes out this month as well. No, or is that February?
February.
Okay, so everything's fucking happening in February, I guess,
Yeah.
because we got Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong, as well as a couple of other predictions I have here. We have a Metroid Prime 2 Shadow Drop and Mario Wonder Free DLC.
Hmm. Are we like I always forget how we do this every year. Do we want to talk about like if we're gonna have a direct and like what would be in the direct, or do we just want to do like our month by month predictions?
We would talk about the direct, but I just kind of want to talk about releases first and then into the direct.
Sounds good.
It just so happens we don't. How often do you get a shadow drop? Unless it's
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush, which I
Yeah.
completely missed apparently because it's on everyone's game of the year for some goddamn reason.
I want to play it. I don't have a beefy computer. My fiance does, but he's always on it. I never want to get on it, so I haven't had the chance to play it.
Is
And
it exclusive to PC or?
no, it's on Xbox as
Oh,
well.
okay.
I'd rather play it on like a really nice computer or like the Xbox Series, and I'm still running on my 2013 Xbox One I never touch.
Yeah, I had I literally gave my Xbox the boot. I'm like, I can get the same
Yeah.
stuff on my PS5. Like they don't have any. They
Yeah.
basically zero exclusives right now, and I
Yeah.
have a computer with Game Pass, so it's like
Yeah.
if I needed Game Pass.
But in terms of Nintendo, I'm pretty much exactly there with you. I mean, Mario vs. Donkey Kong comes out on the 16th, and I'm right there with you. We're gonna get a Prime 2 Shadow Drop. I don't think it's gonna be as remastered as the first one was, but I do think we still get it. It is improved, obviously, new control scheme. It'll be fun.
Hmm. Now, as much as I don't want this to happen, and I know you probably didn't put on your predictions, but before we get into the direct, Pokemon Day, um, everyone is talking about how they're already ramping up for the next game to be announced here, and I of course don't like it, but there's a huge it's pretty a notable split in the community, in the leaking community, where some people just know without a shadow of a doubt that Black and White is happening, which it makes sense within this filler year,
It's
and
on my predictions.
it's not. Although I would say this would be one of those years where they take a break and then they come back with a remake in the next generation, which is what they did with Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I personally believe, but it's a pretty deep cut split in the community, where some people are like, "We're already at Gen 10, guys," and the other
No.
side is like,
No.
"This is Black and White remake," and it's crazy. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I have Black and White 2 on here, as well as Pokemon Futures Kyurem, which won't release this year, but it will be announced here.
Is that like a Legends sequel?
Legend sequel, sequel to Black and White rather than a prequel to Diamond and Pearl.
Oh, okay.
Because the reason why I believe that is because we see a lot of future characters in the Blueberry Academy DLC, and there is this weird dichotomy with the last few Pokemon games where Black and White is not really a time game. It was mostly Diamond and Pearl because it was all about their history, and that's why Legends made sense. But here they have two towns in the game that make me believe this, other than one, the entirety of Scarlet and Violet as a whole and how much is connected to Unova. But two, there's a town in Black and White that, depending on if you play Black or White, it is set in the past or it's set in the future, as in they never updated their infrastructure in one, and two, they completely remodeled it with, like, I would say chrome, and there's like lights in the ground and everything. And then there's another town that's even better in Black and White too. There's a battle facility there. It's called White Forest and Black City, and they're both like future
Gotcha.
and past version. So what I assume with, everything with, what's his face, the Pokemon with the that looks like a stapler, uh,
You're talking to the wrong person.
uh, it's like a future version of one of the, basically in one of its forms it looks like a bridge from Unova.
Ah,
So I assume it's gonna be like, it looks like a future version of that bridge, if that makes any sense. Um,
gotcha.
so that's my reasoning behind that. But you probably don't have this on here, but I believe that this is going to be a full, like, 2-in-1 situation where we're gonna get one game that's black and black 2, and another game that's white and white 2, because you can't at this point. I don't know what they're gonna do unless they want to remake Black 2 Next Generation. I think it's better if we put them together now, because if they do release Black 2 Next Generation, it's definitely gonna be on the next gen, and
Yeah.
that won't work because there is so much connectivity in terms of story, and there's a literal gameplay mechanic where you can combine your save files into one. So if they just completely do out with that and just make it one game, that's what I hope is going to happen, because otherwise they can really fumble the ball, and they already did many times. I'm just going to put on there that it's a black and black 2 and white 2 remake.
See, I've been I've been discussing like Pokemon honestly quite a bit lately with some other people who know a lot more than I do about this. So I have two or three predictions. I think one is pretty likely and the other two could go either way. Obviously, I think Gen 10 is coming out next year regardless. I don't think the 3-year schedule is going to get skipped. So I think either the black and white remake, whatever they do with it, is probably the most likely. It's what I have on my list. I think Legends is also possible. I don't know the development period for that. I don't know if it's too early. It would be 3 years roughly by this point.
I don't think that they
Or
had plans to release another Legends, but because you notice that there's a severe lack of certain things in Scarlet and Violet that people loved from Arceus. So I assume
yeah.
what's going to happen is that they're going to, you know what, let's bring it back, because people
I mean,
like
it sold really well, so it's like, why not?
yeah.
And what's the least likely scenario in my opinion, but I want to throw it out there regardless, is a Gen 2 Let's Go game been predicting for like 5 years now.
Yeah, that could be the other option. I hope it's black and white because it's a lot better, but a lot of people are assuming that it's gonna end up being like a BDSP situation, which don't do that to black and white. And at least this time I can be like, okay, I understand why you don't want BDSP to happen again, but I didn't experience Gen 4, so that was my first experience with Gen 4 as a game, and I thought it was fine. It's just that game was kind of boring. And so I now
Yeah.
understand. I'm like, do not BDSP black and white, because there is so much in there. It is one of the most content-rich games, and you can't skip it. So,
I will say I do think that Pokemon will be like the big, ooh, yeah, this is coming out only for the Switch. But don't worry, you can play it on the Switch too, and it'll either look a little bit better, run better, or something.
or
They're gonna
exactly the
figure out how
same.
to, yeah, they're gonna figure out like some way to market it that they still were trying to talk you into getting it on the Switch too.
Yeah. Yeah, I again, leads into that backwards compatibility thing. Is actually the first time that's going to happen, because apparently after watching some Did You Know gaming videos, Pokemon Stars was supposed to happen. Ultra
Yeah,
Sun
it
and Ultra
was.
Moon wasn't supposed to happen. So this is like the first time where it'll actually be cross-platform, which is insane. So, or
Yeah.
cross-generation. So I don't know if they ever promoted the fact that Black and White 2 was playable on 3DS, but
I
oh yes, they
don't
did,
maybe.
because
Oh, they
of
did.
Dream Radar. That's why.
Uh,
So there you go.
but yeah, it won't be anything big, but it'll be like in the advertisements, in the directs, be like, this is coming to Nintendo Switch on November, blah 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 blah. It will also be playable on the Switch 2. It'll either have some form of like small bonus content or something. It's going to be one way of like trying to talk you into buying a new Switch.
So that'll definitely be in like the May June
More than likely.
present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because I assume that, well, we'll get to that anyway. That's pretty much all I have for Pokemon here, because I think they like to do their spin-offs in directs, because well, it hit or miss, because Mystery Dungeon was in the presents and
Yeah.
Pikachu was in a direct. So
Yeah.
all right. Anyway, Nintendo Direct time. It's happening this month, I think, right? Or are we
I
saying
agree.
okay?
I agree.
If you want to go ahead, if you would like.
So obviously February directs can be pretty hit or miss. Last few years they've been pretty hit. Especially now that E3 is gone, I really think the importance of a June Direct is not really as favorable for them anymore. Given this is the final, what we're assuming to be the final main year of the Switch before the successor comes out, and obviously they're not going to talk about any Switch 2 games or like the hardware here. I do think this Direct gives us more or less, maybe besides a couple small like spin-off games, every single big box release coming to Switch before the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah. So this will be just pretty much highlighting just Switch, the last
Yeah,
Switch titles.
this will be the last Switch Direct.
Okay.
Um, I have to start with it. You know what's coming. We're gonna get the Zelda Remastered Collection. It's gonna come out in April. It's gonna be everything I wanted. And it's gonna be kind of like how they handled Pikmin 1 and 2. It may shadow drop same day. I doubt it. I really think they're gonna wait a few months and build up hype for it. On the eShop, they'll be $35 a piece or something like that. So if you want to buy them separately on the eShop, it's like $70.
Okay.
If you buy them in a combo pack on the eShop or you buy it boxed, it's 60. So that way they can justify the higher price just in case you only want to buy Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Or you save $10 if you buy both. I think that's going to be like yeah, these are big games. We don't want to charge this small amount for it, but I think like especially since they got away with it with Tears of the Kingdom, I think they can get away with it here. I
Now,
mean,
is
this
this
is
a combo
two
pack?
full Zeldas.
Again, I think
At
I asked
retail,
this before, that it's one cartridge or two cartridge or
it'll be one cartridge.
okay. And is it
The file size.
like
Oh,
Pikmin one
good.
and two type of thing, or it's you pop it in and it's like two games?
Unfortunately, I think that's exactly what it's gonna be. I would rather they like make a special start menu, like a special like logo, like with 3D All Stars. But I do think they'll probably be lazy and just like you put the cartridge in, both show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that'll come out I think in April.
Okay.
Both Prime 2 and 3 will be announced. Prime 2 will be available same day. Prime 3 will be available sometime in the summer, be probably early summer. And we will not see a physical release of 2 and 3 until 3 comes out. So it'll be, if you're a physical collector, you'll be waiting probably 4 or 5 months until you can like own both in a box. Um, the last big announcement I think we'll probably get is Fire Emblem Genealogy: The Holy War remake. This has been rumored for like a year or two now. I do think it's real. Something small enough that people really won't care too much about, but it'll be fine. I mean, after Engage, I kind of hope this more walk back towards like more old and traditional Fire Emblem makes people like the fan base more excited.
Mhm.
But and that'll just be coined with later this year. The last like full reveal I think that could happen is either a Tomodachi Life sequel or port. I honestly don't know which direction to go with this. Because I mean, I think they've heard the outcry since Miitopia came out. I think they very clearly know we want a new one, and I think it's going to happen. I just don't know if they're going to go lazy or actually pull out all the stops and make a brand new one. And that'll be sometime in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have something a little different going on. So I said before that Prime 2 is getting a shadow drop. I do have a few more titles squeezed into the June Direct. I basically have like a mini Direct in the beginning and then a console showcase at the end. We'll get to that. But of course, I have the Princess Peach Showtime final trailer.
Well, yeah.
I have the Splatoon 2 or Splatoon 3 side order release date, Metroid Prime 2 Shadow Drop, Paper Mario full release date, Luigi's Mansion release date, and then this is where it gets a little shaky. I have, I always do this. I have a Mario Sports here again, which I don't think
After last year, I'm not risking it.
I I'm gonna throw it on here because I know it exists somewhere. I'm gonna be right one of these years. I put Mario Sluggers, and then I don't again. I'm only saying this because the first game had DLC, but I didn't play Detective Pikachu, so the first game had DLC exclusive to Japan, so I'm putting Detective Pikachu DLC here. Again, could be in the Pokemon Direct as well. And then, like I said earlier, I think that Mario Wonder will be getting DLC.
I
Um,
hope so.
Now, if it releases like outside of the Direct, it'll be a free DLC update. And if it gets announced within the Direct, it will be a paid full Luigi U type expansion. Okay, that's my reasoning behind this. Now, if it's a free update, we probably get a few new modes, a few maybe new characters, throw in Rosalina in there. If we get the paid DLC, it'll be that and then the Luigi use expansion, essentially.
Okay.
And then I have also something Smash related. Again, not DLC, not a new game, but Smash will be name dropped here. I don't know how, but I had a gut feeling that it would be. I
Hey,
don't
I'm
know if
gonna say I'm gonna go on a limb here. Probably, if it's anything, Smash on N64 NSO.
that or a deluxe edition, which it might
I
be too
mean,
far gone, but I think they wanted to wait for Sora to
I
come
feel
out.
like if they do that, it'll be on the next system. It's like a year one. Like
Yeah.
here's some new Smash. Here's everything boxed up into one thing. With the Spirit event coming this month with a bunch of new spirits, I kind of think, like, obviously that's our little hint nudge nudge of the team. Like something is going on in the background with Smash, but I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
see the fruits of that labor for a good while.
Now that's why I put it here because of that. It was just because like it seems like they're doing spirit events for the rest of the year, which is what I heard. Um,
I've only heard this month, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I think there's some stuff going on, so that's why I put it here because I think Matt told me that it sounds like they were doing multiple throughout the year. So
Okay.
um, whatever that means, I don't know. I don't. There's people on here that are like, "Oh my God, it's Wave 3," and I'm like, "You're stupid. You're so
No,
stupid."
yeah, no.
I would love to be wrong, but that would be really terrible for them. Um, Next, this is like I said before. I filled in some blanks. Genealogy remake. Um, I that makes sense in this year. We thought it was going to come last year, but yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Anything else for February? Can we move on to March?
So it makes me sad that neither of us predicted Pikmin 4 DLC, but I would love it if like after the success of like Pikmin 4 they just went back and like added like a bunch of mission mode stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I think they
Like
did
some
that with
Dandori
Pikmin
battle.
3, right? They had like a
Yeah,
free
they did.
update. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Throw that in this direct. Why not?
I want to predict it because I'm like, oh, Pikmin 4 DLC, Mario Wonder DLC would be fantastic because I'm itching to get back into Pikmin.
Hmm.
But I'm starting to get the vibe that at least for the Zelda team, they're moving on to something new. I kind of feel like Nintendo internally might be like pressing the teams to be like, okay, we get it. These games are good. Wrap it up. We need to start producing for the next system.
And
So that's why I'm
are
a
you
little timid
ready?
on like that's why I'm timid on Mario and Mario Wonder DLC, Pikmin DLC, etc.
Yeah, I just hope they don't like Pikmin. That's an easy one, like free update, but like they need a Luigi U update, and we'll talk about this in my game of the year. But there's some griping problems with Mario Wonder. Maybe Wario's in it. I don't know. But it's difficulty and boss battles. If they can just fix those two issues with a Luigi U style DLC, like
See,
perfect.
that's my
Like
thing.
that's
Is
it.
like I don't think it's gonna happen because I think they're just back to making 2D Mario games again on the regular. I hope they're not like, ooh, this is the same series, but
Mario
I do
Wonder
think
again. Good job.
Mario Wonderful.
God.
But yeah, I think they'll just keep making 2D Mario games more frequently nowadays.
Pikmin 4, I think, is probably more reasonable. I think you're right. Again, they did that with Pikmin 3, just throwing a few extra challenges for free throughout the year. I think
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
that's pretty
fun.
much
I'd
it.
love it.
All right, March. All I have is Peach and Side Order, because I really
Uh,
want
wh
Side Order to come out
when
because
when did you place side order for it? Do you like have a set date?
no, I just honestly I'm so focused on it coming out before April because I okay, so basically I've been releasing all of my like live streams into like watchable videos. And so right
Hmm.
now I'm kind of alternating between cuz there's like a quarter billion Mega Man game. Um I've been like alternating between like big games and Mega Man, and then Mega Man's kind of like the filler, and I just keep going because Mega
Yeah.
Man's like super easy to edit. I just pop it up. Um, so right now it's the release schedule is Splatoon 3,
Mhm.
Mega Man 4, Mutant Mud's Super Challenge, which I need to finish as well, so that's on me. And then after Mega Man 5, which will be done in March, I'm hoping that Splatoon 3 side order is out and I had beaten it so that I can continue doing daily uploads. It's just a personal thing, but that I don't have a
So
specific date. So,
I've got two. 'Cause it's like I think it can either launch with the next season on March 1st. I think that'd be very feasible. That kind of makes sense. Or I just threw it out on March 14th, like just over a week before Peach Showtime. It's like
hmm.
it feels like that's something that should come out before Peach, just in
Either
case like
way, it comes out
something
before
overshadows
Peach.
it. Yeah.
So,
And then,
yeah.
oh, do you have anything else for March? Because I've got a
No,
bigger thing I wanna.
I've been trying to like spread out releases throughout the year, and it's been pretty hard, even with the wild card. Oh my god, I skipped something.
What do you
Oh
skip?
my god, one of the bigger things on here. Whoops. So my wild cards. You might have noticed that I put some DLC on here. May or may not happen. Might as well throw Pikmin on there as well.
Mm.
Mario Sluggers. That one was just a gimme, but this one was the real wild card. Pokemon Tournament 2.
Ooh, yes, please.
So there's been rumors that something like that might be happening, but Tekken 8 is coming out pretty soon, so that could not be true. Um, I threw that in that last direct as well. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that was my
That'd
wild
be
card.
fun.
I completely
That'd be
forgot I
fun.
skipped it. But no, like I said, I've been trying to I literally took all the games that we have, the few games that I decided to insert in here, and figure out when they would release, other than if we already
Mm.
have a release date. And it's been very hard, but I decided to just put 2 games in each month and then just see what happens. So,
So I need to jump back to February just really quickly for something very minor. It's my direct week prediction is the same as Nintendo's financial meeting. I don't know if it happened before or after because I don't know the date off the top of my head.
mhm.
But I do think if it does air, the direct does air before the investors meeting, I do think there's like a quick segment somewhere in it where they're like the Switch 2 or like successor to the Nintendo Switch is coming out at the end of the year. Please look forward to it. We'll have more info throughout the year. I don't think they'll say or tease any like dates,
I
but I
think
think they want to get in front of the investors and be like, "Hey, we're actually doing it now."
I think for personal, I think just to be different, I'm gonna put a hard no on that for me. I think that we'll get a full, complete reveal, or maybe we'll get something in like May or something like. So we'll have like our May. We'll have like what we had in November, October, October
October,
for
yeah.
the Switch, like our Imagine Dragons trailer, and then in June we'll get like the full reveal, like we did in January. I think was like the
No. Yeah, the presentation.
yeah. So we'll have that, but it'll be more publicized. I hope.
See, now this is when I get to start being different because a week after the Peach Showtime comes out, I actually think we're gonna get the reveal trailer for the Switch 2.
Ooh,
It's not gonna be anything big. We're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna see any games for it. I really think it's just gonna be like somebody in the room, maybe Miyamoto, maybe like Tezuka,
just a
whoever
weird,
whoever it is.
moody
It's
console
gonna
reveal
be like
trailer.
it's gonna be in that white room. I think they're gonna introduce it, and I think we're gonna get a few pieces of info. Obviously, we're gonna see the design of the system because I think they want to get ahead of it before it goes into production, before too much can leak, because you know it's coming.
Mm,
Like it, I know it doesn't matter much to them ultimately, but I do think they want to kind of control their own destiny this year. So we're gonna see the design. They're going to confirm that it will be compatible with Switch games. It will also NSO will also be upgrading, and every single NSO game that's already available will be there day one. They're not going to confirm any new systems, and they'll confirm like with your Nintendo account system, your purchases will merge, and then in June we will not be getting a traditional Nintendo Direct, but we'll be getting a Switch 2 showcase.
okay. Um,
So like no games whatsoever. Won't even be like the Mario Kart situation in the Switch reveal trailer.
okay. So I didn't even put like a little mini trailer. I don't think that's too crazy either. Um, I don't think that we'll have like a sit down talk type of thing that you're imagining.
I think it'll
I
be like a
think
3 to 5 minute video.
I honestly think we're gonna see more. I think we'll see that after, before it releases, and then
Okay.
like a spec type video, and then before it, we'll get our Imagine Dragons like crazy
My
video.
my reasoning for it is I really think that we've already kind of seen the talks the last few months that people are getting really worried about their purchases not being transferred.
No,
They're
they already
worried like it's
confirmed that it's gonna be available. We already know
they
this.
confirmed that the Nintendo account system, like obviously like they've mentioned like the idea, but that's them a few years ago and a piece of art, like a graph. Like
Yeah,
we need to like hear it firsthand. Like yeah, they can go without showing the system, but I think they want to kind of assuage the fears of like, okay, obviously games are still coming out for the Switch this year. Obviously, we're still making purchases. I just want to make sure that I'm not setting myself up for disappointment when these things don't work on the next system. I think they want to get in front of it and be like, hey, it's coming out this year. Don't panic, 'cause we're not going to make you wait
mm,
half the year again for the reveal. But we're not giving you any games. We're not giving you a price point. We're just going to show you what it looks like, tell you a couple things to calm me down a bit, shut up for a few more months.
hmm. So I didn't have any of that, but I do have the full reveal in June just because that's what they did before, not with the Switch, but with past consoles where like E3 was like the place to show it off. And so I think if they do that, they'll have more eyes on them because if you don't know, monetization is up in the summer because people are bored and it's summertime. Um, so even if we don't have like a public place to all meet at to see this grand reveal, I think this will be the best for viewership. And again, like I
And
said, it could be.
that's why I think we see the games in June. You know, the things the majority really care about.
I don't
The
think so
diehards,
because I think that most people are gonna want to see what this new console is. I've heard people that are PlayStation PC fans that have a Switch. They're just like, I just want to know what it looks like because we already have a great. If again, if it's cross-platform or cross-compatible, like we already have a great lineup, and so I don't really care about what comes out on day one. I just care about if it's gonna be able to run the games I want it to
I
run.
I think they're copying. Well, we're not going to get specs for this. It's literally just going to be the design of the system and this info. But I think they don't want to muddle the waters like by showing games and the system in one event because this isn't E3. We're not going to get a 2 hour show because this is the first time since the Wii U where they actually could devote 45 minutes to an hour just to dedicated console talk where we actually get to see it. We get to see the games for it, not necessarily just launch stuff, but the launch and beyond, which I think is what we're going to get in June. That being said, I am mostly following Sony's model for the PlayStation 5. They
Okay.
showed the console and the controller first, and then later on they had their game showcase.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
I might be wrong.
I definitely agree with you that we might get some little tease before June, and I definitely think that June will be the full showcase. I just have a different way of going about it.
And that's fair.
And I think that even still, because we are you're already gonna confuse the waters by continuously releasing Switch games and marketing your new console. So by just
Mm.
merging them together and going full force with it, you're gonna be telling people, hey, you can play these on the Switch too. Don't worry about it. Like you
But
just kind of full force it.
I'm gonna be the contrarian to both of us here. There's also a timeline that comes where we get the console reveal in June, and we don't get the games reveal till August or September. It worked great
Even
with the
then,
Switch One.
I
So
don't think it's gonna be like that either because I think we'll know what will be on it at the very least. I think we'll see someone playing Tears of the Kingdom probably because we don't have a Zelda game for it yet. We'll probably see. I think that June will be the time for Metroid Prime. So what we already know about and maybe like a little sizzle reel of what's to come, just like we did
mhm.
with the Switch. I think that's what we're probably more likely gonna see, at least in that small trailer. But I don't think that we see anything farther than launch with I literally will probably just see it playing Switch games and then the few games that we know about that could be coming to it, like launch games,
I can see that.
and
Yeah.
then pretty much September Direct, full force, pretty much only Switch 2 stuff, maybe some Switch 1 stuff because of like indies or whatever. That's
Mhm.
pretty much what I see.
I'm slightly different because like going for like we're gonna get to this when we get to June. Basically, the June Direct for me is all Switch 2 stuff, and then the September Direct has like a couple reminders for like the September October titles, and then going forward it's Switch 2.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I think that Nintendo's not going to torture us this year like they did back in 2016, making us wait until October, but you never know.
Yeah.
I really do think they walk into either their February investor meeting or their May one, and they're like, hey, we've got a system coming out this year at the very least.
All right. So next is April.
Mhm.
I got Mario Sluggers and Detective Pikachu. You probably don't have very much here either.
I
Um,
have Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD coming out on April 19th.
ooh.
And Devin will be very happy because he can finally shut up after basically 3 years of this nonsense.
Yep. Yep. And $20 down.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't make that bet again last year. I was thinking about it.
Yeah. All right. I think this will just pretty much be a smaller month.
100%.
May. Uh, do we have a hard date on Thousand Year Door, or is it just?
No, it's
Oh,
just 2024. But it is rated by like the ESRB and another ratings board in another country.
I have this in May.
I do too.
Oh, hey, there we go.
I have it specifically on May 10th.
I don't have specific dates, so
You're
don't hold me
fine.
to that.
I'm throwing these up at the wall, so you're good.
Yeah, so May, because again, literally the only reason why I don't have dates is because there's so little. So
Mhm.
I literally just like May. I don't care when it comes out, just May.
I'm I did dates this year just because how proud I was. I was like last year I was 2 weeks, 3 weeks off from Metroid Prime's physical like release date, and then
Mhm.
my predict because I did like March 9th or something like that, so I was like exactly a month off or something.
Yeah,
So I was like,
that's
I
crazy.
can do something right.
Yeah, I do remember you're like, oh my god, I was so close. Uh, I do remember this on Twitter actually.
Mhm.
All right, June. I have something at least a little bit bigger than Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, which could be taken as a piece of paper and thrown in the trash. Um, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Ooh, that is not bigger than. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it is. Oh
sales
yeah.
wise, maybe,
No, it is so
maybe.
much better. It is so much fun. I love Luigi's
No,
Mansion
the
2.
Thousand Year Door is one of the best games of all time. Here, come on.
That's not Super Paper Mario. What are you talking about?
You know how I feel about that game,
Yeah, you're
but
not
I
supposed
am
to
with
feel that way.
I am with you. I do think Luigi's Mansion comes out in June. I have it in the end of June, so
I
June
don't
28th.
understand why they called it Luigi's Mansion 2. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's Dark Moon, people. I don't care about you
Because
Europeans or
because they
Japanese. I
did it
don't know.
because they did it because they went back to numbers for three. And like in
Okay.
the event they do re-release Luigi's Mansion again, now it's Luigi's Mansion. It's the Pikmin effect.
Pikmin 1.
They're gonna put Luigi's Mansion 1 right next to it if they release it on the
No.
Switch.
No. But they could at least do both. They could do 2 Dark Moon instead of
I know that, and
fucking
that's what they should have
HD
done.
and the weird HD logo that looks way out of place. Not to
It
mention
looks awful.
the 2 is not even the same 2. It's a different 2. They had to redraw that 2. What? There's a 2 that looks way cooler right there. What are you doing?
It's a two-spiracy.
Ugh. I just don't understand. This is a weird release in general. Just having it even existing is insane, but I don't mind it because it's actually my favorite Luigi's Mansion game, and still to this day I haven't finished Luigi's Mansion 3. So, not to
Make
say
me
it was a
sad.
bad game, I just haven't
You
gone
make
back
me
to it.
sad.
It's like
No,
Mario
I really
RPG. If I take too long of a break, I'm not gonna finish it.
I
So,
really do enjoy Luigi's Mansion 2. It is a great game. I know it was kind of hated because of how handholdy it was, but I love the different mansions mechanic. I thought that was fantastic. I am so excited to play it again because I haven't really touched it since it first came out.
just do be warned that apparently to a lot of people the last mansion or mansion and a half does get a little grindy. So, just be aware
And
of that.
I stopped somewhere in like the middle of the fourth mansion, so that
Yeah.
might be a sign that, or the third or fourth. I don't remember. Is there four or five?
I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest
Yeah,
with
but
you.
I stopped at like the back half of the game. I didn't
Yeah.
finish it. I wanted to, but I was like 13 and I got stuck or something like
Yeah.
that.
I just know that it was. I think it was my first game that I 100%ed. I think. So
Nice.
that was at the time where I was chronically starting to get chronically online, and Chugga like literally did a let's play like a few years later. So it was like it was great. Um, what else was I? Oh, some people are saying that they might do a little more with this game, because we still don't know what new features there are. Just because, you know, like Luigi's Mansion remake did. So we might
Yeah.
see like Luigi and stuff. I don't think it was in this game. I think we do
I
know that Scare Scraper is back again. Is that
yeah.
okay? And the
I
other
want to say
thing
it is.
is, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's. I think it's probably just gonna be the exact same. What would be cool is if they pull the Pokemon and let you play 2 and 3 together. That would be sick. Um, and then I think some people were trying to say that they might like get rid of like it'll still be the level structure, but like Mario Odysseyify it, where like it doesn't kick you out and it like keeps you in the mansion,
That'd be
which
nice.
I because
I don't
it's
think.
not too far fetched because it sends you to a black void, but I think a lot of part of that game is there's some missions where like you have to get back into the mansion, and sometimes you have to take a different path into the mansion because of natural disaster. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it'll work completely, but
I mean,
honestly,
you can
I
have
don't
certain
mind it
events
being
that
a
kick you
faithful
out.
remake either. So
I think it's going to be a lot of quality of life stuff. Obviously, it's going to look and play better. I think there's going to be a little less hand holdiness. Like, I think they're going to scale back the amount of times EGAD calls you at points. But
yeah,
outside of that, I do think it's going to be pretty faithful. They might let it be more open, but I don't know if they're going to go that far. It'd be cool, but I
I
don't
don't
think they're going to. I don't think they feel the need to.
I don't know if I'm just so used to being handheld because of the generation I grew up in, but I didn't even, excuse me, I didn't even notice it at first. And then literally the first thing my friend said upon playing it for the first time last year was, "Egad won't shut the fuck up." And I'm like, yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
fair complaint. And I'm like, I
I
didn't
mean,
even notice it before, but yeah, he
it's like
calls a lot.
every 2 minutes at some point, even faster at some moments.
I
It's
hope
annoying.
what they do is that you can't, because there's Egad's great. You can't really cut his dialogue, but
No.
they could just make it like simply ignorable, like a real phone, and
Yeah.
maybe that will just solve the issue pretty simply.
I mean, I don't even think you have to do that. Just condense what you need to say.
Yeah, or like
As
put it
simple as that.
into one dialogue box beforehand, and then
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
But do you have any events going on in June?
oh, I have another game, Pokemon Tournament 2. Anyway,
Oh, I honestly I would love that. Like you said with Tekken 8 coming out this year, like especially like I think it's either the end of this month or early next month. I don't think it's going to be that fast, but I
mhm,
wouldn't complain.
mhm,
No, for me it's Luigi's Mansion and only Luigi's Mansion.
yeah. So like I said, Hogan was just wild card.
Yeah.
But I do have a Nintendo Direct, and like I said before, I do have a split thing going on here. So the first half of the Direct will be Switch releases.
Hmm.
And I have, oh, my phone's charged. I can unplug it now. Ooh, check out my case.
Ooh.
Where should I put? I need a pop socket. This phone is way too big. Where do I even put it? Because if I put it in the center, you're losing all the detail.
That's the problem. I think that's the best place to put it. 'Cause, I
Fuck.
mean, you really don't have a lot of real estate on that.
And I wish pop socket had an option to make it like clear so I can at least kind of see it. But you still have like the goddess flower and the sword, so I guess it's not.
All right, get to your predictions. I'm waiting for a certain green-hatted hero to make an appearance. I'm gonna get grumpy.
Kirby.
No, you're getting warmer. So technically, you got me there, but
I got a Kirby spinoff. Um,
Mhm.
Luigi's Mansion 2 reminder. It would be coming out this month. Again, I don't know if it's before or after the direct. So, and a Fire Emblem remake.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I
Go
also have the
on.
Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess.
Thank you. I've been waiting years for this moment.
And then we get our next gen system announcement. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in here sometime before this direct that they have some sort of small trailer announcing it, just like we did with the Switch 2 or the Switch original. And then we'll get our full blown breakdown in this direct. So this won't be the announcement. It'll be a little bit different. We get our announcement a few months before, then we get our breakdown here. The way I imagine it is whoever's hosting this direct, maybe it's both of them. I would hope it's both of them. Or hey, maybe they bring back um Bill
Uh,
Triner or something. I don't know.
does Bill even? I think Bill
he
still works
he
at
still
Nintendo,
works there.
but like
He's not a personality anymore.
we have not seen him on screen since
Nope.
E3 2019 as he was recapping the direct after
Nope.
Zelda 2019 got announced.
He's in a few tree houses, but he is not a after Reggie and Iwata,
Yeah.
they pretty much cut all the fun out of
They did the funny Bowser gag with Doug Bowser, then
and
they're
then
like,
now
okay,
they're
wrap
like,
it up.
okay, no one enjoyed that. Let's not do that anymore. So he does still work there, but he just kind of does his job now and
Is
nothing
it
else.
okay? Little side comment. It's been almost 5 years since Reggie retired from Nintendo. How the hell?
You know what's crazy is that in my phone I have Zelda's anniversary on there, and that's the same day he retired, which sucks. So it's just every time I see
Yeah.
that at the beginning of the year, I'm like,
Oh,
so um
Jesus.
anyway, so I do have a little bit different here. I think this is a full breakdown and announcement of three major titles. Okay?
Ooh.
So we'll get our little mini trailer beforehand. Maybe it's the exact same trailer that we saw before. In that trailer, we see the what the thing looks like and what it does, which is essentially conveying to people: one, it can play Switch games; two, it has a dock, Pro controller, and Joy Cons, and or Joy-Con like devices, and it's just literally like a recreation of the Switch One trailer, just different. Okay.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, so it'll show off those major features within that trailer, and show off a ton of Switch games being run on it. Maybe showing signs that it looks better, but it could be debated on for the next several months until we get this direct. People are gonna make videos. Oh, it is slightly better. The frame rate's like 0.2 better.
They showed the Korok Forest, it runs 3 frames a second better.
Yeah. So they'll show Tears, they'll show Pikmin, probably pretty much all the heavy hitters from the recent Switch year, and maybe sprinkle in a few from this year as well. I don't know, maybe the trailer's already made and they can't do new games, but they'll show old Switch games, and then they'll show a couple of like Switch 2 games, quote unquote, like that Mario thing that we got of Toast Arena, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I remember
Um,
that.
so it'll be mostly Switch 1 games and then a few Switch 2 teasers. And then we'll finally get the announcement of what those teasers were. And we'll get the deep dive, full spec speculation, full specs, the price, and then we'll get into games that will be playable. They'll announce everything with online and backwards compatibility, and then we'll get into new games. The first game that they announce is something that is launching day and date, which is Super Mario Universe, a sequel to both Mario
It's such a generic
Odyssey.
name.
I know, it sounds
No,
like
that just brought me back to
Wii U
Wii
days,
U
yeah.
speculation.
So this name is probably not even right. It's not trademarked or
Yeah,
anything.
no, that's
But
fair.
this
Yeah.
is the sequel to Mario Odyssey that we've been waiting on, with the gameplay loop of Bowser's Fury.
That's true.
However, it's not only a sequel to Mario Odyssey, but it's also a sequel to fan favorite Mario Galaxy. So essentially, imagine the beautiful controls of Mario Odyssey, and the beautiful visuals of the Switch 2, but in space once again.
Oh, please. Please.
Yes. And so that's my prediction.
Please.
But oops, I am in September for some reason.
Huh.
So that'll be announcing day and date. They will also show a little bit of a teaser, not fully, but there are a couple of rumors. Just because they need to show, I would say at least 3 games. I could be wrong on this one as well. But because I'd say, okay, let's just show off 3 games. We're gonna get a teaser similar to Metroid Prime 4, or maybe they'll just say it, just straight up, just say it, and then no gameplay, nothing. But there are a couple of rumors going around that Nintendo has already been working on the next Mario Kart, and
Oh,
not
I
that
100% agree to that.
not that we're getting it this year, but what they are going to announce is confirming the rumors that happened a few months ago, saying that this will be the most. This is their $300 million billion Mario Kart that will have the most beautiful graphics. Now, the reason why I think they need to show at least a teaser of this, even if it's not ready, is to show people that they're actually going to care about the graphics, because that's everything people have been complaining about with the booster course path.
Mhm.
Which, again, I already know that wasn't their focus. They just wanted more tracks and more content. Understandable. Nobody gives a fuck about the graphics in Mario Kart, but if you do, okay, fair, but like it doesn't matter. Okay, but I really thought that the next Mario Kart was gonna look like the Booster Course Pass, but better, obviously, because they will have more time. But no, according to this rumor, it will be full on. So again, they could just say Mario Kart is in development for the next system, right? Or they could show a teaser of how beautiful this game is gonna look on the Switch too. Okay. Then the end of the direct will completely wrap it up, and they're like, "You're probably wondering about a certain game," and then the Metroid Prime 4 on screen with full gameplay. It'll be the main focus. It'll be like the next 5 minutes is this whole trailer because people are so excited about it. And
Valid.
it'll be the only game, not Super Mario Universe, that is cross generational like Breath of the Wild. And it'll be releasing day and date as well, alongside Mario Universe.
That is a lot to unpack. We've got a few things that kind of that are the same. We've got a few different. So obviously, we'll touch more on Metroid when I predict it, because you know it's going to be in mine. So my main difference is just they're not going to have a Nintendo Direct. They're going to have a Switch showcase,
Okay.
and that'll be dated for the usual like second week of June, usually when they have their E3 time. Before that, we will have like a little reminder that we'll get the final trailer for Luigi's Mansion 2. We'll get a couple we'll probably get like the date announcement. Either Well, see, Metroid Prime 3, they can announce like with Metroid Prime 4 in that Switch showcase. I think that could be like the one exception. Regardless, though, any like announcements they have in terms of DLC they may have, any like projects in like the June to like July window will all be shown off just on Twitter, on YouTube before the showcase. The showcase will happen. We'll see a more detailed look at the hardware. We'll get Nintendo-ized specs. Like they're not gonna try to like give us headaches, like trying to like be like Sony and Microsoft talking about teraflops and shit like that.
No, they'll just
We'll
be
get that
like,
on.
"It's a 4K system, and that's about it."
Exactly. It's a 4K compatible system that it runs games at 1080p. Like
Yeah.
TV runs games at 4K. Switch it still runs at 720p because I don't think they're gonna give us a 1080p screen on the handheld. It's really not necessary. As cool as it'd be.
No, but we don't want
Um,
a freaking Xenoblade again, too, specifically.
I mean, but the handheld would be more powerful. If that's like if it ran at a 720p resolution, the game would look good. The problem was like at the 480s or something like that, 520 or something like that.
Yeah.
Regardless, like we'll get a refresher on NSO. They might confirm we get another system. I don't think so. It doesn't really feel like
Not
the
here.
time.
Right
Yeah, it
after,
doesn't feel
I
like the
think,
time.
starting next year, we'll get a new system, I think.
Yeah. But we'll spend some time on that. There will be 2 high-profile projects coming out in 2024. One will be launch title, one will be launch window. And then they're also going to show a couple games for 2025. I know they could wait for September for this, but I think they really want to get that Switch hype so high so early. So I think this will be the time. Obviously, I'm with you. Super Mario will be the launch title. My title is Super Mario Horizons, so I'm not much better. I'm not
Super
much
Mario
better.
New Horizons. No, 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 no. Super Mario Horizons, uh, Zero Dawn.
But it'll definitely play in like a mishmash of Odyssey and Bowser's Fury. I don't have an idea like what the setting is going to be, but I'm not going to lie. I don't want a straight up Odyssey, not Odyssey, Galaxy sequel. But could you imagine if like there's an option in certain worlds that you can just go up into space and like they have their own like objectives and it's kind of like Galaxy, like you get the gravity mechanics stuff like that from Galaxy, but it's like just part of these levels.
Yeah. Now,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
again, we had that a little bit in Odyssey, and I think that was like a shout out to the fans because there was like star bits, purple coins, right? And it had the low
Yeah,
gravity stuff, but there wasn't a whole lot of circular planetoid stuff going on. But
but
I
I mean
know,
like you get into a cannon, you get shot into space or something like
yeah.
that.
So I know you didn't critique mine, but I want to comment on yours. Would this be
No, go for it.
like just Mario Odyssey, like globe trotting again? Like,
No.
okay,
I don't know. I like I said, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but obviously they want bigger levels, so we're gonna have much bigger levels, which is why I kind of think in like every level they could have like either a cannon that shoots you up into space, or like Captain Toad in a spaceship that can fly you up there or something like
that
that. I don't know.
they need to bring back the Star Shroom or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Starship, whatever. Um, what there's like 16 or 18 worlds in Odyssey. I think we'll probably be down to like 8 to 10, but these are gonna be like the size of like 4 or 5 kingdoms each.
Yeah.
Like obviously they won't be
They'll
as
have
filled.
middle like kind of like the levels and like the original Mario. It'll be like worlds, and then we'll have small sections in there like
Yeah,
Bowser's
yeah,
Fury. So just
yeah.
more Bowser's Fury, basically.
Exactly. But it'll still play like Odyssey. It won't be too different. Like it'll obviously still be a here's so many moons or whatever like collectible they give you, but it'll be like an amalgamation of the best of Odyssey, Bowser's Fury, and a taste of Galaxy if we're lucky. I'm hoping. I'm
And
not
screw
super
Sunshine.
expecting. Fuck you, Sunshine.
Thank you. One thing we can agree
I
on with the GameCube.
don't hate Sunshine. I just don't prefer it. Okay. Metroid Prime 4 will 100% end the direct, but since I do think it's going to be the only other 2024 game, I want to touch on it now. I don't think it's going to come out day and date with the system because I think Mario could potentially cannibalize those sales.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say it comes out 3 to 5 weeks after the system comes out. It'll be both on the Switch and the Switch 2. Like they'll actually get their own unique boxes, so it won't be like, "Ooh, buy this one and you can have like a free upgrade." It'll be like 2 cases. Obviously, the one on Switch 2 is going to play a hell of a lot better than the original one, but they have to put it on the Switch just because they promised it 6.5 years ago now.
Jesus
They
Christ.
can't exactly back out at this point.
Yeah.
So that'll be the other game that comes out 2024. It'll look gorgeous. It'll be worth the wait. Everyone's going to be so excited. And then I have 3 games that will come out in 2025. They will show off the new Mario Kart. Mario Kart X will get a trailer. It'll look gorgeous. It'll be like the graphical showcase because Mario will look great. Metroid will look great. Mario Kart, they can do so much with it because each track is so small.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look fantastic. It's gonna look amazing. It'll come out. They'll date it for 2025. I'll mention this later. I think it's probably first half. I think we get like a 6 to 8 month gap between the Mario games, so it won't be a huge wait. We're also gonna get. Stick with me on this. Kid Icarus Uprising HD.
No,
Gonna
don't
look
announce it
gorgeous.
now.
Yes, it's gonna
Why?
another graphical showcase game. It's smaller. Sakurai's still alive, and that could be like a
What? Still
February or March
alive?
game. Still making games.
What the fuck? That's a little harsh.
Still making game. Well, I mean, if you don't watch his YouTube channel,
I
you don't
do
Sakurai.
every day.
Okay, but the general audience doesn't. I know we do, but I mean, like, the general audience, they haven't heard from Sakurai since the Smash DLC ended.
Well, I assume when they said, "Oh, he has an announcement. What could it be?" and then it's like it's a YouTube channel, and then they probably pop in every once in a while and be like, "Oh, he's still doing good."
Now, I will admit, I do still think that Kid Icarus could come out this year for the Switch, but I do think that if it's Bandai actually working on it, they could actually do some like real work to it and make it look just gorgeous.
Yeah. Pokemon Snap.
So this is
So
why I'm saying early 2025. This will be another graphical showcase game. This will be something to get out early so people can get excited for the graphics. There's something to play early on in the year.
I should
It's
say
highly
now
requested.
that I only have two. Actually, no, that's not true. I have one 2025 game and general 2025 stuff, just because I was mainly focusing on the Switch 2, and that I just kind of said there will be games in 2025, and I
The
didn't have
Nintendo
anything
Switch 2 has
specific.
games.
Yeah, I didn't really like pinpoint exactly. Like the only thing I have is Mario Kart 10 because I know that's happening. Everything else I didn't really put too much brain power into.
And that's
So
fine. That's fine. My last one, it's been at that point it'll be well over 4 years since the last installment came out. It was one of their best selling games on the Switch. I think it's time to tease Animal Crossing.
ooh,
Like that's the like we won't see Splatoon, we won't see Smash. Mario Kart and Animal Crossing will be the games they tease. Like we will not see anything big on Animal Crossing. We might see like a couple like
just
concept
Tom Nook
arts or
in the
like
office again.
something similar, yeah. And that won't come out until end of summer, fall 2025. That'll be one of the big end of year games for the next year. They're not going to touch on it, but they want to be like, "Hey, it's coming." And that'll get the
That's it. That's all you get.
Animal Crossing fan base hyped up really early on.
You just
Yeah.
hear the Animal Crossing noise at the end of the direct, and that's it. Nothing else.
Honestly, that'd be enough. And then like stuff I can't predict. I think we'll get one or two notable third-party developers like on board really early on, and they'll announce something exciting, something like, "Oh my gosh, that's gonna be on the Switch."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my June.
All right. July. Zelda.
I've got Prime 3 coming out, and then the physical collection of Prime 2 and 3 mid-July.
Okay.
Basic, simple.
August. Kirby spinoff.
I have Fire Emblem Echoes Genealogy of the Holy War coming out on August 9th, and some sort of Kirby spinoff that comes out on August 23rd. I don't know what it's going to be. It's Kirby, probably another fighting game.
Yeah. September. Fire Emblem.
This is where I got my Tamagotchi Life sequel or
Okay.
remaster.
And I
This,
also
yeah.
go ahead.
Good. Oh no, that was it. I was just
Oh, okay.
rambling.
Nintendo Direct.
Hmm.
So for some dumb reason, I have Metroid Prime here as the only Switch game. And it will be releasing in October, but I might change that and just say it gets announced here for a release a little bit after Prime 4. That could be a mistake, but I like it slotting here in October because otherwise October will have nothing. So I just put it there
Right.
for the sake of that, but right in the middle of the Switch 2 hype is probably a mistake. But
I have it coined in for December. Right now, I'm just gonna spoil it now. I have nothing for October,
okay.
and I kind of think October's just gonna be the advertising and promotion lead up for the next system.
Yeah, I just would rather put something in October because it feels better having December have nothing. Because literally, if they put something in December, then kids are gonna cry. I wanted that for Christmas, but
Well, I think you pull the Xenoblade 2 card, and then you have it extremely early December, where there's still a lot of shopping time.
yeah. Well, that could be because I have Metroid Prime in November with Mario Universe, but that could easily get thrown into December as well.
Yeah, that's fair. But
But this is a direct. I don't think I mentioned that before.
yeah,
Um,
you did.
so the first half is Switch again, quote unquote, even though there's only one game. Um, the Zelda movie cast will be unveiled here.
Yes,
Um,
please.
as Tom
I
Holland
can't
as
wait for
Link.
that.
No, I'm just kidding.
Timothy
Uh,
Chalamet as Link.
yeah. So we'll get our cast here just like we did with Mario, pretty much same song and dance. I'm hoping that we also get a look at it, like not like a trailer or anything, but like a piece of art that shows like Timothy Chalamet as Link or something like that. Just kind of like
Right.
something to chew on a little bit. And then we'll get into the next gen stuff. Of course, we're talking again about Mario Universe and Metroid Prime. Oh, I'm sorry. I lied. Mario Universe comes in day and date. Metroid Prime comes in sometime after in November. I think I'm gonna just
Okay.
straight up move that to December, and then call it good. So we'll get it. We'll where Metroid Prime was teased and fully shown off in the last direct. We'll actually have a release date this time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it does, absolutely. Anything else for the director? Is it gonna
Yes.
just kind
So
of
I'm
be
I'm just moving some stuff around.
no,
Uh,
you're good.
I also, again, like I said, I didn't really focus on anything, but this will be the time for third party developers to step in because instead of
Agreed.
having a showcase of the Switch 2 and focusing on specs and what we could see out of it, this time it's just going to be a straight up a Switch 2 direct, and we're going to
Mhm.
see games slated for 2025. Now, again, I just have day one, November, December, and 2025, just kind of in a bubble. Again, we're just going to see a shit ton of titles front loaded here right before the launch to get people hyped, literally right before launch. So we'll see a ton more coming day one, later in November, December, January, probably up until March, I would think, specifically third party. And then this
Yeah.
will probably be the time where we throw in our Animal Crossings, a little bit deeper of a look for Mario Kart, things like that.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
with you. I have a final trailer for Mario Horizons. I have a new features trailer that'll probably show off what the gimmick is for the next Mario Kart. So that's when they'll coin it for the spring 2025 window. We'll get a final trailer for Prime 4. We'll obviously get a bunch of third party stuff. I'm with you. It'll probably be for the rest of the year and then like first quarter, first half of the next year's big. I think I know I'm probably throwing a lot of Switch 2 games out and it probably won't happen, but I've got two more new reveals. We won't hear anything about Animal Crossing.
Okay.
That's not going to be for a while. I
Well,
think
that's why I was saying like for the reveal, it's only Nintendo titles and there's three of
yeah,
them. Whereas this time, because it's an actual direct, it'll be solely focused on Switch 2 and then
yeah.
Zelda.
Well, these two new games, one is a remaster and one is a brand new title. The remaster, I'm doing this because Monolith Soft loves September directs. I think we're gonna see the announcement of Xenoblade Chronicles X remastered for sometime next for 2025.
Hey,
It'll probably be it'll
sick.
be it it'll be a little teaser like they did for Xenoblade 1 remastered. It won't be anything major, but it'll show off the new visuals. It'll just announce it's coming. They won't have any like it'll just be 2025, that's it. And
It'll
then
be cross-platform as well, or just Switch 2.
I
You think
mean it
you?
could be cross
I guess the question
That's the
should
thing.
be: do you think Nintendo will be releasing any more cross-platform other than Metroid Prime 4?
See, that's the problem. It's like
Because I don't think that they did with the Wii U. I think third parties did, but I don't think they did.
I'm gonna go off on a limb and say the only like outside of Metroid Prime 4, the only games that get cross-platformed is Pokemon.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna say Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out too late in the year to be worth it. But I also mean like I kind of think this game is gonna look so good it probably won't be able to run well
But
on the
I
Switch.
honestly still think that the Switch will be marketed, quote unquote,
100%. It's gonna
for
keep
the next year and a half at least. Not like up until like July ish next year. At least on
well,
the first party side.
to go off on a little tangent, I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's gonna be because the Switch gets a not a technically a substantial price drop, but I do think before the system comes out, they want to lower the value of these older systems.
Mhm.
So, if anyone who's still like on the fence, now it's cheaper, go off on it. they're still going to be making a ton of money because their games are still basically full price. I don't think they really care much about making a huge profit on the old system when they're going to be making a profit on the new one. And yeah, they'll keep marketing it because I really do think they are, maybe subconsciously, maybe not. I do think they want to top that PS2 console sales number, become just the top dog of all time.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be so close by that point.
Yeah, I was really hoping that they would make it, but we still got a whole year, and then price drop could really do it. Maybe let's buy 4 more Switches each when they price drop.
I mean, it's gonna be like, hey, we're gonna, even if they sell like 2-3 million every single year for the next like 2-3 years, they'll make it.
Do you think they're
Because I
really gonna
think they're
sell more than 1 million when they're gonna be announcing a new console? Do you think people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, the Switch 2's coming! Let me buy another Switch"?
if they announce a price drop, yeah.
Mm.
I had a couple
Oh
friends
yeah,
just this year get Switches for the first time, and
price drop for sure, but regular like it'll be the same price throughout this year for sure.
well, the
Um,
problem is with new systems is unless you're a really big 3D Mario or a Metroid Prime, and hey, Metroid Prime fan, you can play Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch. Like up until like Mario Kart and like next year, it really is only going to be the hardcore Nintendo fans buying the next
yeah.
Switch, and that's kind of
What
the goal for like the
Which
first
is
6 to 12
crazy
months.
because you would think hardcore Nintendo fans are that Zelda demographic, especially with Breath of the Wild, and that is the reason people bought Switches. So,
But I mean, a new 3D Mario and probably a much better performing Metroid Prime 4 is enough for us.
yeah.
And then you get that first 6 months, and then when Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, those games start coming out in some point next year, that's when you start like really pulling in the more casual demographic.
Right.
But
Anything
I
else?
really no, that's one more thing. My big direct reveal
Your one
will
more thing?
be
Literally?
Luigi's Mansion 4.
No!
for
Don't do this
some
to
point
me. Don't
for
do this
some
to me.
point at the end of 2025. It's going to be like they revealed 3 back in the day.
Oh, God.
It's going to be a little teaser, nothing major. We're going to see the setting and then we're done.
Oh. Okay, fine. I don't want to
I
do
mean,
that. I don't want to do
we
it all over
haven't
again.
I'm sorry, like 20 Mansion 3 came out in 2019 and the only thing they've made is a mediocre Mario sports game.
Hey, maybe they're the ones working on Sluggers.
Honestly, I wouldn't be against it, but it would really drag my Luigi's
Uh,
Mansion 4 idea down.
I would love Luigi's Mansion 4, but like there's just something wrong with Luigi's Mansion 3 to me. I don't know what it is, but there's something inherently different that I don't like, and I don't want to
The
have to do.
combat, I for me it's the combat. Like it is a lot easier. I think it is a little less fun.
Yeah.
It's still great, don't get me wrong, but I
Well,
do
you would
think
think
like
it's a lot more fun because it's actually slamming the ghost instead of
well
just
that's the problem.
sucking harder.
The slamming is what makes it too easy in my opinion though.
I guess. I
Like
felt I
it's
don't know.
fun, but yeah. But yeah, that's everything for September. I mean, I've got nothing for October.
Like I said, Metroid Prime 3 remaster in October. Um,
And then
November,
November.
we got a lot going on here. We got next gen system. We got
hmm
Super Mario Universe slash Horizons. We got whatever third party snipper clips ass level games that were also going to be coming out. Probably an update to NSO around this time as well.
More than
Uh,
likely.
and then my Black slash Black 2, White slash White 2 remake in our normal Pokemon window. That's all I have.
So we're basically the same. So I'm gonna throw out my like specific release dates just so I can come back to this see if I'm right or wrong next year. The 3D Mario and Switch successor will launch on November 8th. The Gen 5 remasters will launch on November 15th. And then Prime 4, which is cross-platform, it'll launch both at the same day on December 6th.
Yeah, I have Metroid Prime in December as well now. Do you want to talk about Game Award?
No. I mean,
I said probably nothing, but Mario Kart 10 would be dope.
I mean the only thing, like I don't think we're getting anything Nintendo at the Game Awards this year. I think the only thing we didn't really touch on that I want to bring up at the end is I think at some point this year they officially greenlight either the Mario movie 2 or the Donkey Kong one from
Yeah.
Illumination.
I think we'll get the same level that we got with the Zelda movie announcement,
Agreed.
but um, I mean, I might be too soon on the Zelda movie cast as well.
I
Um,
think you are. That's why I didn't touch on it. I think we're not seeing that until at least end of 2025. I don't think this movie comes out until late 26, early 27. I really
yeah.
think we're a ways out.
I'm just scared that if they also announce a Mario movie 2 or probably Donkey Kong, um, I like I don't want to just sit here waiting for two Nintendo movies that I'm unsure about, and then like it's like double the grief that we had with the Mario movie.
No, it'll be fun. I think we'll get like some point in the year, Illumination Nintendo will post a poster with the already established Mario renders
Mm.
and then just a year on it.
It's just no.
It,
What we'll get is that we'll get like Chibi Robo but on fire, and then it'll just
I
say
love that that
Mario
still gets
Movie 2 under it, and that's it. Like a
I
fucking
love that
impact
that's
font meme.
all of these years later. That's been 6 years now, and it still
Yeah.
gets brought up. I love it.
All right, but
Um,
that's about
yeah.
it.
See, guys, even with mostly remasters and ports, it's still gonna be a fun year.
Yeah. As a
Yeah.
recap, we think that there will be a lot of remasters. Switch to full showcase in June and release in November, and I kind of do want those Gen 5 remakes. Not gonna lie, I do want those.
So, I made this joke on my Twitter a couple days ago. If Nintendo does not release the Zeldas on Switch this year, catch me in December with the Steam Deck.
Oof.
That's my bet for the year. If I
I'm
don't get my Wind Waker
gonna
Twilight Princess HD, I'll buy a Steam Deck.
I'm gonna get. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not gonna get the remasters, and Paper Mario is officially canceled. Light your GameCube on fire.
I quit this channel. That was my last straw.
You are. All right. All right. I was gonna say you already want to quit, don't you?
BS.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this will probably come out a little later than we wanted to, but holidays and stuff, man. Uh,
Yeah.
we also should have a Game of the Year video, probably releasing first before this one. We're gonna be recording it directly after this one.
Directly.
But that's gonna do it for our predictions. If you already know this, all links are in the description. Check us out, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Discord if you want to join the conversation and be on one of these episodes, and of course our Patreon if you want to help support us and make great videos like this one, and maybe help fund getting a Switch 2 for all of us. That sounds really bad, but like, hey, again,
No,
like I
I'll be
said,
buying my own.
it'll be going directly back into content. So if it does end up buying us a Switch, it'll be for content. So there you go. If you want us to review it before day one, maybe we get a Nintendo partnership. I don't know.
Yeah, you're getting that big this year that we're getting an early Switch. Good
Well,
luck with that one.
I mean, hey, with the trends recently, hey man, anything's possible. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.